Welcome. Justin, thank you for coming back onto my show.
Thank you for having me. It's
Oh, I'm
it's so
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I told you I was a little.
oh, it's all good. It's all good. Hold on real quick. My phone's a little frozen right now, eh?
I see you.
You see me? Oh, okay. Hey, it's all cool. It's all cool. As long as you can see me, you can hear me. No,
I can
I
see
can
and
see
hear
it
you
on.
quite well. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
my apologies.
Oh
Supposed to
man.
be skirting out to Vasquez.
That's right. I
So
got
I
oh
loved
man.
seeing you the other night. We didn't get a picture together because I was so wasted.
We all
But
were. Those margaritas were not to like mess with. Those things
evil.
were hard.
And my mom was telling me like she dropped like a little hint about them each day as they
Hmm.
passed. And the first one was she said, "Oh, I poured like this much of the bottle because you said the first one was weak." I was like, "Dang!" And I was like, "They tasted fantastic to me," and I thought it was the Casamigos. And she's like,
Hmm.
on Friday, she's like, "I didn't give you Casamigos. I gave you the cheap shit." I was like, "Dang, mom, you fucked up
It
the rest." She fucked up the rest of my trip. Like I couldn't go,
oh,
but it was worth it because I had so much fun with you guys.
oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was still fun. The party that you guys had with Batty Sith and Fava and Dave from Avenue Obscure. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And it looked like fun. I wish I could have been there with all you guys. And you went to
Oh,
Knott's too. How was it like being back in Knott's? Like after like how
oh
many
man,
years?
it was like 3. I hadn't been since
Hmm.
2019 since we went and shit like that. Um, I don't know. I felt fine because
Hmm.
that was the day after. I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm dope." Whoa, got my but I forget that my hangovers
Hmm.
decide to be like, "Oh, enjoy your day until about noon, bitch," and then see what happens. That's when my hangovers like to fuck with me because they're like, "Oh, it's noon." They're
Hmm.
sneaky paranormal fucking hangovers, right?
Hmm.
Fucking so I what happened is I left in the morning to we left before we left. I went poo poo like I do every day, but it was
There
like
we go.
whoosh, and I was like, oh well, there goes the margaritas. Still
Oh.
fine. I didn't have a stomach ache, nothing. Went to Knott's, got a little bubble
Hmm.
gutty, a little sweaty, but we were about to get on that hang time ride.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Like I was excited. I was with all my kids. That was the best part. I thought I was gonna
Yeah.
eat. I was gonna eat food because it was the boysenberry fest. I was gonna drink the drink.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes after we got off on hang time, I just started getting real fucking cold.
Ooh.
And I was happy just sitting there and it was like it was like I was getting worse. Like, oh shit, am I sick? Do I have COVID? Like it felt
Hmm.
like a fever. No, dude, I was just fucking dehydrated and hungover because yeah,
I
it
bet.
was
Yeah.
I took my test was negative, but it was just
That's
I
good.
was researching. It was just a bad hangover, and I had like a bottle of Pedialyte the next day, and then
There we go.
but I couldn't drink for the party. But we weren't even supposed to have that party because I was so fucking sick. But ended
Yeah.
up being a really good time. It was actually nice seeing everyone in a sober light. So that
Yeah.
was cool because I never seen, I'm usually just as trashed. So, as you recall, because we got drunk.
We did. I felt bad. I remember Veronica said like, "Hey, so you're gonna be able to drive us home, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And as soon as we had that margarita, I just gave her that look, and it's like every party we go to, I gave her the same look. I'm like, "Hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to drive. I'm sorry." I'm looking over right now because she's here. She's watching us, and
Veronica.
it was a good time, man. Like, can't wait to do it again. We want to come down to your neck of the woods because I need to see some nature.
I
I'm
need you to be here. And the thing I'm worried
yeah.
about, and I'm not worried. I hope you're not going to want to
Mhm.
leave. You're going to go back to SoCal and you're going to be like, the sky is different.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my daughter's teacher the other day, teachers, and they were like,
Mhm.
they still, they can't believe how clean the air is, even though it's
Yeah.
funny. It's just beautiful. I can't wait to hang out so we can do our thing, have our slumber parties, day of recovery,
Exactly.
our gabby gobby shit. I just
Yep.
love you guys are like seriously the best. It's fucking oh my god, I
Aw.
love you so much.
Love
So
you too, man.
I just
Okay, yeah.
so we'll do updates after we talk some paranormal stuff because I feel like some of this might get a
Mhm.
little shiver timbery. Shiver
Yeah.
me timbers. What the fuck?
Shiver me timbers.
The Crocs.
Yes. You're now part of the Croc gang, and I'm so proud of you. It's like, it's amazing. I'm actually wearing mine right now. I don't know if you can.
Same.
I'm gonna show you guys. I got some beautiful Crocs.
Oh yes,
Nice
those
little
are
marijuana ones.
That's exactly
And
what they're for.
and they're so comfy.
Why are
And
they comfortable?
I think it's wizardry. And it's, I don't know, man. It's amazing. I used to be just like you too, Michelle. Like, I knocked on everyone. It's like, bro, why are you wearing Crocs? What the hell is that? What's going on here? It's like, hey. It's like, now I put them on and I'm like, you know what? I regret saying everything. And
I don't regret it because I feel like if we wore them when they first came out, we would have been jackasses. Like,
yeah, we would have been messed with. We would have been bullied.
Yeah, totally. And I was already dressing like a fucking. I'm not gonna say it. I've had enough Easter bashing into Christians. I'm tired of it.
Oh God.
I had fun yesterday. So yeah, I don't know, but then everybody started wearing them, and I was like, it's kind of like, you know how you go into a hunt and you're like, oh, if you go into this one, I'll go into this one. Oh no, fool, I'll go into that one, and you go into, you're like, you go first. It was my son, and he's like, we should get Crocs. He always guilts me into some shit. He's like, Mom, I need a Marvel partner, and I'm like, God, now
a Marvel partner. That's adorable.
Right? So I have to do it because he's so cute.
Yes.
But he's like, I'm not gonna wear him to school. And then we saw the kid wearing the 2 different shoes, because that's a thing now. 2 different colored brands of shoes on each foot.
Wait.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I said. Like, you heard right. You heard correctly.
That's so okay. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna take a video for you of how these kids dress, and I'll blur their faces, you know. But like, no shit. When you think of Pacific Northwest kids, you're probably right. Okay.
Oh my God. All right, for sure.
Grungy.
I mean, I can't say anything. I wear the same thing like every day. Like you were talking, like, I wear like black almost all the time. Like, so I really don't have like the fashion input. You know, I don't have the 2 cents to give out for fashion. So it does sound silly though. I will admit that it does sound like a little silly.
It's interesting, right? I was like, okay. So anywho, what brought us together is because we wanted to talk. You had brought up like, we should talk about like shit when shit gets too spooky. I don't know who came up with this idea, because we put ourselves in some pretty interesting positions. And I'll never forget, the first movie that came out was House is October Built. Oh yeah, totally sweatpants and in lounge pants, the pajama pants, baggy. We had talked about God damn it happened again. What was I saying? Michelle's Alzheimer's. What was I talking about? I'm sure that'll be next. I'm sure. I don't watch. I'll see it tomorrow. I'm back on track. House is October Built was the movie that I saw. House is October Built. It was the first movie I saw where they actually like incorporated a haunt into a horror film, and it was, it was a fun indie movie. I think that's where I was like, "Ooh, indie movies are so much fun." Because I even met the whole cast at a Monster Palooza, so that was like the beginning,
What?
And I never talked about that. Yeah, I have pictures.
No, that's so cool.
Right? So anyways, so that was the first one. And then they keep coming out with these haunt movies. And I'm like, shit, do you ever consider that when you're going into some of these haunts? I always end up forgetting because I'm having so much fun. I forget that, at any moment I could be sex trafficked from a haunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be antebellummed, but
I always have like the same reoccurring thing, conversation with Veronica. Whenever I sign up to do an extreme haunt or just any haunt at all, it's where it's like, what if this is the time that they like, really do kill me or they do something? That is like a 1% chance I'll ever come up with that thought. But the one that's really always reoccurring is, what if I have a heart attack? You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of a heavy set guy and I'm not the healthiest person. So it's like, I'm scared that like I'll get too scared to where my heart like just just like blows up and stuff. So it's like, because like I've had moments where I've had like, I felt like I was having a panic attack, or like I was just like really like hyperventilate. I guess yeah, hyperventilating. You know, I've had moments where I've had to sit down afterwards, and because I could
Mm,
not I could not comprehend what I just experienced, which I'll get into that in a little bit. But you know, like that, it's when you first step into a haunt, that is like a common. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people feel that way, and especially because of the movies. You know, like when they redid Hellfest, I've had a lot of people ask me like, "Don't you ever like worry about that?" And it's like, you know, yeah, sometimes, but um, I feel like with theme parks, you don't really got to worry too much. It's
nah,
usually just like the, you know, like probably like the underground stuff. You know what I mean? Just especially like if you don't know, but 9.5 times out of 10, it's not going to be that way. You know what I mean? And you know, most of us in the industry, we know that it's like, you know, that's just an act. When they say like, oh, get ready to get your brains splattered, they're not really going to be splattering your
right,
brains. They're just trying to sell some tickets, you know.
right,
But
and
mhm,
entertainment, acting skills,
yeah.
shit like that.
Mhm,
I honestly, you bring up a valid point. Because that's the thing. What are you afraid of in one of those extreme haunts? And
mhm,
you clearly, your whole moniker described you. Yeah, I expect to die too.
yeah.
Or at least piss myself. That's when I'm like, which I was just on a video earlier and I was like, it's not, not unlikely at this point.
Mhm,
Like, if I pee myself all the time, it feels like sometimes I'm like, what
yeah.
the whatever, just sitting there. But yeah, I have yet to piss
Mhm,
myself, but I also don't put myself in positions like you do. You've been kidnapped,
mhm.
you've been
I wouldn't say kidnap actually. No, I was picked up by a group of strangers. You know what I mean? And wasn't told of the destination we were going towards, you know? That was the first encounters of them though. Now it's all like I let that group of people do almost anything to
to
me
you.
now. Like yeah, to any event that I went to when starting to get to know them, I was like, I'm all yours. And they knew who I'm talking about, which you know, they're the greatest. They're the greatest in my book.
I
Um,
I really enjoy well, I watch the people on Instagram and social media, but I never got
mhm.
to go. I don't want to. The words
I
in my
feel
mouth.
I don't blame you. It's hard. It's hard to like, you know, like be like, all right, get yourself psyched out and really go into it. You know, but I don't know. So like you were talking earlier that you were going on hang tide.
I
You going on roller coasters, that feeling that you get right there, that's what I get from extreme haunts and like, you know,
okay.
stuff that are like immersive stuff, you know? Because I'm way too scared of heights where I will piss
Piss
myself
yourself.
and I will cry. I pulled a muscle on before the Tower of Terror got replaced with Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, we went on it. This was like when I was first dating Veronica,
Oh
you know,
my
so a few years back, and I remember I was trying to be the cool boyfriend because I went to Disneyland with her and her siblings, and I think some of like their friends or something like that, and so I was trying to be the cool boyfriend, just going on all the rides with them, and I'm like, I'm kind of like scared, but you know, I want to seem like a cool guy. Hey, how's it going, folks? And then we get on Tower of Terror, and everyone's like, "You guys ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, oh yeah, fuck." You know what I mean? Like I was just scared, and I felt bad for the old lady that sat next to me because like it was like some stranger. I grabbed onto both of the arm rails, like the arm like bars that you can hold onto on the side, because I was like, I know I'm gonna be terrified. I know I'm gonna be terrified. I can't. I need to hold on to both to feel safe. And the lady was trying to hold on, and she was like, "Excuse me, young man, could you please move your hand?"
oh
And I
no.
don't know what came over me. I was like, "Oh, no hablo inglés." I don't even speak Spanish. But I knew she wasn't gonna question it, you know. So I was like, so like she was like, "Oh, never mind." And then she just like you know, like goes off and talks to her grandkids. And I felt bad. Like this lady probably needs to hold on to it more than I do. But also, I don't want to piss myself in front of my new girlfriend and her siblings. You know what I mean? It's like well, what's more important? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, so the cramps suck, and you couldn't fucking
Yeah,
move because when you get a cramp, you got to stand up. You're like, oh shit, how
yeah.
fucking painful! I probably would have farted. I would have
Hmm.
peed. Kudos to you for handling that without letting go of a bodily function. And
I
you married
know
Veronica.
exactly. I feel like that's what it was.
Oh my
Where she
god!
was like, you know what? I'll let this man marry me.
I
I'll let him. I'm
I
just kidding.
mean, you know, that's
Yeah.
pretty good, Veronica. He didn't fart. I farted on hang time the first time I went on. I've been on all kinds of rides.
Ah,
Why is that the
yeah.
scariest fucking ride I've ever been? I hate getting on that ride. I hate that part.
Which one? Hang Time?
Yeah, I pooted on that ride. I was like, I've never
Dude,
farted
Hang
on a
Time
ride
is
before.
terrifying. My little sister wants to get on that,
That's some bullshit.
and I was like telling her like, look, you can get on it, but I'm not. You know, and it's just like, hell no,
It's
I will not get on that ride. Anything with the loop like that, no, I
oh
can't
yeah,
do that.
it's the hanging there. The
Oh,
hanging
that
there
too,
is what
yeah.
I like. I didn't like that.
Mm.
But I still get on it because I have kids that are like, oh, come on, mom. You know. Anyhow, so scary
Yeah.
stuff. So you go
Yes.
through haunts. We watch these terrible, horrifying movies.
Hmm.
We go to haunted locations. Well, at least you guys do, because my husband doesn't like doing those things, except for
Yeah.
that one time, and I'll share my story later.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you go to, but then I'm like, so your name is Scaredy Cat Vasquez.
Hmm.
You legit cry. I've seen you scream and cry and cuss on in haunts and shit like that. I've seen you do it
Yeah.
on videos. Yeah, and you've extreme haunts, but for some reason, even with all that, you're a great heart, you're a great human being, like one of the most genuine humans out there. You
Aw.
have some shit that we do need to talk about. Ron, and Veronica's always just straight face, like fucking
Yeah.
like my Morticia right there, like.
Hmm. Yep. She's not lying. I will. I
Like,
will.
and it's sometimes I'm like, "Are you okay?" I haven't
Oh.
been through anything where I've seen you do it, like, in videos, but you have
Mhm.
shit that's really fucked with you, and that's what I wanna talk about because
Yeah.
as much as I dabble in, I think I dabble in my witchcraft and,
Mhm.
my astral projections and the things of my outer body experiences and the fact that I can literally sometimes hear, no, I'm not. I mean, maybe I am, but where I can actually feel and sense,
Mhm.
spirit guides without faces speaking to me. I argue with them,
Mhm.
um, but I don't feel like I've had a ghost experience. I've had some weird shit happen that I can't explain, or I
Yeah.
have a different kind of haunting that what you have experienced. Why do you think you've had experiences outside when the creepy life gets too spooky? Nothing that's happened to you was ever Halloween or haunt induced, right?
Um, no, I would say no. Like some of the stuff that's happened to me, um, wait, I'm sorry. What do you mean by I forgot the definition of induced. Like what do you mean like Halloween caused it
Oh
or
yeah, like you were at a
okay.
Halloween event, like you know what I mean. Like if you're at a Halloween event, none of this the awkward stuff, the paranormal things, the strange happenings that
Oh,
you've experienced never happened during like a Halloween or horror event, right? Like you were
not
or watching a movie even?
not during. It's usually afterwards. Especially this one show. It was an immersive show that I got invited to attend. Um, it was called Invoked, and it was run by I can't remember the company that ran it, but they're unfortunately I think they're out of business either way. So but
Oh.
either other than that, it was done in an actual haunted location, and the stuff that they were doing in there was really close to like a real seance and real rituals and stuff, you know. So that one would probably be that and something else, which I'll get into later when we talk about like physical stuff.
Mhm.
Um, that was like probably like one of the only few times where it's like, yeah, a Halloween event did kind of cause me to have something happen, you know? And I'm not mad at it. It's like when you sign waivers and you like, do all that stuff and you really like get involved with the industry like that, you kind of expect it to happen and you have no one else to blame but yourself because you went to it, you know what I mean? It's all like um at least that's how I see it towards me. It's like, uh but excuse me.
You're
But yeah,
fine.
this with this event invoked, I still have something from it too. I think I have it with me here. I gotta
Wait,
check
like an object, an
an
item, or
object that they gave
okay.
me because so let me finish the story. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, no,
So
go ahead. I'm
um,
so intrigued right now. I need
yeah.
popcorn.
So the show's going on, and I'm sitting next to a gentleman who's a actual paranormal investigator. And
Oh,
he's telling me about this place. He's like, yeah, I've heard about this upstairs from this. It's upstairs from a record store. The place is called Gimme Gimme Records.
never
It's
even
up
heard of
in Huntington Park, I believe.
it.
And from
Okay.
what I heard, I don't know if it's fully true. This is from what I heard and what this guy told me. Upstairs is haunted. I guess someone died or was murdered in that place, and of course, things like that happen. Like, when things like that happen in places, the energy sticks around and causes paranormal activity, stuff like that. So that was one thing. The group of people that were performing, we were told that we were doing a mock seance. So it was going to be like a seance,
Mhm.
but we're not really trying to contact the spirit realm, you know. But here's the thing that I learned in an anthro class that I took just for fun when I was going to college. Spirits, they don't know when you're just joking around. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Or like they probably will know, but it's like, well, they did everything. That means with this action, I therefore have to react to it. And it's like a rule or something. So it's no matter what you do, it's gonna open up a door whether you wanted to or not. You know,
Gonna attract
and
it for sure. Absolutely.
exactly. And so there was a lot of that going on in that room with the things that we were doing in there. We were sitting in a circle, typical seance setting. We're on the floor. They made us drink stuff. I will admit, this is my first time ever trying to fake my way out of this because I didn't know what they put in the cup. I didn't see what they just had cups already poured out for us.
So you
And
definitely had a red flag.
yeah, I was like, okay, I do not want to drink anything, because the thoughts in my head where it's like, yo, what if this is a trap?
Mhm.
And so I try to just pretend like I'm taking a sip, but one of the actresses, she caught on and she like literally lifts the bottom of the cup like higher, so like it really gets in there. She's like, I'm trying to put it down after I take a little bit of sip, and she's telling me no because she knows exactly how much is in there, and she wants me to finish it. And luckily, it was just water. It was just
Oh,
water. I'll say that. But at the time, you don't know that because like you're freaking out. You're like, what the hell? Like first, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm scared, so I'm gonna try to fake my way out of this. Now it's like, oh shit, I've been caught, and now I really have to do this. So
shit.
it
Peer
was,
pressure.
yeah, it was, yeah. I felt like kind of like a little peer pressure. Again, it was all part of the show. There's like the real people that work that do the shows. They're not like that. I've talked to them. Great people. But
Okay.
again, this is my first time meeting them is during their performance. And so we're doing other stuff too with our hands. We got to like hold hands, put our hands in a certain way. We made a star with all of our hands like put
Mhm.
together and stuff like that. And yeah, and like, there was like all over the walls there was moon symbols, pentagrams, other things, like just other symbols going around. And I remember it was me, and I looked over to the gentleman who's a paranormal investigator. He was sweating. The room wasn't that hot. It was cold. It was like, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And, it was cold up there. So he was sweating. He was freaking out, which got me thinking like, all right, if this grown ass man is freaking out, I should probably be freaking out too. And, the everyone that was in the room, like the actors wise in the room, knew exactly how to just like really push our buttons. I was looking towards the door, and someone caught that and they automatically stood in front of the door, making it
Wow.
seem like no, I see you trying to look for a way out, but I'm blocking it. And that was intense. So fast forward, the show goes on. It's a great show. It was fun. Like, if they ever bring it back, I highly recommend people going to it. But I will say this, at the end of it, they gave us each a crystal.
Okay.
Like, and I was just asking like, oh, like what's this for? Because like I never really, at the time, I never really like believed in like even thought about crystals.
Mhm.
So I was just like asking, I was like, oh, what's this for? And they're like, oh, it's for protection. And I was like, from what? And they're like, anything. And they told me like some of us here, we experienced stuff before the show started. It was kind of active before everyone came in when we were like getting ready and rehearsing and all that stuff. It's like, wow, I wish I would have known that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like, oh man. Um, it's yeah, no, it was kind of like a trip. So I was thinking like, why would you hand me this? Now I got to drive for like 45 to an hour to get back home with this thing, thinking that something's attached to me now. You know what I mean? So I was freaked out. But I will admit though, I did feel like when I left it in my room for like a few hours, I did start to feel like a little different in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt a little cleaner, and that's and I'm not talking about physically because I always got laundry on the floor and shit. You know what I mean? But like it did feel a little cleaner, and like it was just weird. I was like, what? And that's when I kind of started like wanting to learn more about them, and it was just yeah. But then with it being clean now, any other thing that would kind of come in, you would be able to tell, you know?
Like you're able to sense if something.
Something new is in here now.
What kind of crystal was it? What color? Do you
I
still
can
have it?
show you. Hold on. Look, you're gonna
Let's
see the
take a gander
backside of
at it.
me. You're gonna
And
see the backside of me for a little bit,
that's fine.
and then here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it perfectly like this. And
I can't quite tell. Is that it? I can't really see because it's like shining off. You're gonna have to take a picture
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Um,
I'll send it to you, and we can like talk about it another time. But I can explain. I can describe it. It's like kind of like a light blue with some white in there.
okay.
And yeah, it's a small crystal. Um,
But see,
they
the
were
thing
giving these out to
I
all of us.
love
I
that
forgot the name.
I love that they do that.
Yeah.
Did they give everyone the same kind of crystal, or did they do different ones?
No, they gave everyone the same kind.
Same one?
Yeah.
Hopefully, it came from the same. That's pretty cool because,
Hmm.
the thing with any type of magical tool, especially minerals and
Yeah.
rocks and shit like that, um, you get out of them what you need from them, and of course,
Hmm.
each different crystal has different properties that are for different things.
Yeah.
But the fact that the intention of protection was put into it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because we all use crystals. I mean, the hipsters and subvert Karens use crystals nowadays. Like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny to me because I'm like, wow, remember when the shit was hard to find? Um,
Exactly. Now you can just like go on Amazon.
you could go to Amazon, you could go to 7-Eleven.
Seven.
Um, I feel like I've seen crystal. I don't know. I haven't been in a 7-Eleven in a minute.
Oh
But
man.
I think that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
That's pretty dope. It's just well, clearly you felt something, and you were
Yeah,
right
and
in
like.
saying but if you knew if it was a haunted place,
Mhm.
would you have still done it?
Probably. Just to say I did do it, but after experiencing that now, it's like I kind of have like like a little. I hesitate now
Yeah, and then when you
whenever I
go
hear about a place is actually haunted.
do you do
Going
your
to the Queen
research?
Mary. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what?
you do your research beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, like going to the Queen Mary that same year, I felt a little hesitation. Like I wanted to go because it's an amazing event,
Mm.
but I was like also like inside of the ship. That's where a lot of stuff happens paranormal wise, and it's like, do I really want to put myself through that again? What if it happens and I'm like in front of a crowd of people and everyone thinks I'm crazy? You know what I mean? And
I
it's
wouldn't.
like, yeah.
I'd protect you.
Oh, thank you.
I could
I know you
definitely
would.
Yeah, I could definitely say in all confidence that Queen Mary does have some energies
Yeah.
in there that I even picked up on. And I don't know if it was just from everyone else's energies are out there, but it was definitely something I've never felt before. And it was
Hmm.
always different for me each time. Like I didn't necessarily want to go into that shit. But to me,
Yeah.
the scariest thing the last year I went was 2019, was those I was like, in a way, and I don't know if the haunts are gonna bring them back. I went to a haunt. Yeah, we went to a couple haunts here in Portland last year, but we didn't go to any in 2020 because there weren't none.
Hmm.
But I went yeah. And I would always just put my crystals in my boobs. I don't know if you remember that, Justin. I would just walk around with crystals in my tits all the time. I would bra. But
I did not know that.
yeah, I
Okay.
used to do that shit all the time. But it was because I was more or less because honestly, I protect myself from other people's energies. I was trying to focus on the show Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was going with that. But I just know that the Queen Mary is
Yeah.
haunted.
No, it is. It's
It
we've had some
feel
like yeah, we had some camera like technical difficulties there because of like
yes.
paranormal reasoning. It's like a cliche thing because like every ghost hunting like TV show has that where it's like, oh man, our microphones batteries were drained because of this and that. At the Invoke thing, the paranormal guy, he's a paranormal guy, so he always carries a tape recorder
Mhm.
and well, not tape recorder like a like a recorder thing. And he was telling me like I just put new batteries in this morning and now it's dead. And I was like, oh god.
Wow.
But when we went to the Queen Mary, I just put in new batteries into these wireless microphones that I was trying out that night.
Oh, I
And
remember this. Yeah.
there we go. Hey, what up, homie? My homie Sarah's up in here. How you doing? Anyways, but um yeah, the battery drain. Thank you. And
I love
and
Veronica.
it was crazy. It only happened in one part of the ship. Like we were towards the back of the ship, but then we
Mhm.
went towards the front of the ship, full battery again. It could have been some wiring thing or something like that, but it like at the time we just couldn't tell because everything seemed fine. Like I didn't, I was using it like literally minutes before, and then all of a sudden this happens, and it's just like
Yeah.
it was
There's
a little
definitely
weird.
yeah, there is definitely and you say it's cliche until people actually experience it. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bring it! I want it." You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to yell on my microphone, but I did. Anywho, so like I was saying before, I've not had a paranormal like I've never seen anything. I could say, okay, I
Mhm.
felt that, but I still am like, do you want to give me some more? You know, give me that. Let me appear shadow. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of like challenge
Yeah,
it because I'm always like, I still think I'm the bigger bitch. I still feel in control. So I feel like maybe things that want to come at me are too
yeah.
intimidated. That's why I have these stubborn spirit guides. You're coughing on my podcast again. Um, these spirit guides that um usually talk through me. I don't know, I just hear myself talking in my brain and I don't attribute it to anything of my knowledge. It's just some spirit guy.
Hmm.
But, we had got invited to go to the Witches Brew in October of 2020. So we did go to a haunt. I was wrong. And it was the one where we spent the night at the Cosmopolitan in San Diego. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna spend the
Okay.
night. And I was stoked. Chuck was like, no, because he's had things happen to him and he won't even talk about it on this. So he was like, I don't really want to spend the night. And I'm like, too bad. We're gonna have to.
Mhm.
I thought I salted, I did all the I saged, I Palo Santo. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but I did. I put stuff, you know what I mean? I did what I would have done in any new space that I was staying in.
Mhm.
And sure enough, we got trashed with Chelsea and Dan. And I was like, yo, let's go to bed in this old ass, cool ass fucking place. Cause it was pretty dope. It was definitely a
Mhm.
step back in time. But no shit. we were that's basically it. I should sing that to Chuck anytime I want him to talk about paranormal stuff. So, anyways, he was like, he couldn't sleep and he's all, I hear footsteps. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I do too. But I'm like, that could be so and so. And he's like, we're the only one on this wing.
Ooh,
And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
it can't be so and so. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
I was like, And he goes, do you realize on the tour, this is where they said under us was like one of the most haunted, most active rooms in the house. And I'm like super stoked, but here's me. I'm like, but I'm also tired. So I was in and out of sleep. He was legit holding me the whole night.
Oh
And
man.
about 5 a.m., he's like, time to go. And I'm like, fuck, we couldn't even get breakfast, dude. We literally snuck out.
Oh no. I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
I was like, dude, it's literally daylight. We could just, he's like, no, we got to go. No, I think we beat the sun home. We were like kind of racing the sunrise. That was fun. I felt very vampire-ish.
There
But
we
that wasn't
go.
that wasn't the experience that the climatic one that I just had. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to share where I did hear footsteps when we first moved into our new place,
Mhm.
the first night, it's a 3-story. So the first night we slept in the basement. I felt fine. The
Mhm.
second night when we first got our keys, we put air mattress up there or something, or the beanbag, I don't remember. And we slept up there. I was hearing shit.
Ooh.
And I legit was actually nervous, but Chuck was
Mhm.
the calm one because Chuck was probably like, "We ain't moving back. This is ours." Like Chuck is
Yeah.
thinking of his investment. So,
Mhm.
and that overpowers any paranormal. That'll repel any paranormal activity when a
Yeah.
white man is protecting his investments. And Andre.
Okay, okay.
He's angrily texting me with some shit. He's gonna talk some shit. Not
You gonna
real
talk
angry.
some shit.
Okay, your turn. You go again. Your turn.
Okay.
That was pretty spooky, but I want spookier.
You want spookier? I
Oh
think
yeah.
like the only way it's gonna get spookier, unfortunately, paranormal wise, that's it. Like like I've had some other stuff happen in my personal life. It wasn't related to living this spooky life, though. You know what I mean? It was just things that's happened. But something that's like that from being all up in the spookiness and like kind of like I guess you will playing with fire very mildly use that reference. Would be the very first immersive thing I ever did. And that was at the very first Midsummer Scream event when this is like when Scaredy Cat was just an idea. I don't even think I went by that. No. I didn't even went by Scaredy Cat at the time. It was an idea of like what if I did YouTube about this, type of stuff, and I was practicing a lot on my Instagram. Like it was just every like 5 minutes I'd post something that I did. And this was
Okay.
one of them. And it was this event by Screenshot Productions. I believe they're still active. I
Yeah, I
hope
think
they are.
so.
And they're wonderful people. They do great immersive stuff. Not always terrifying. It's like some of it's a really beautiful and it's like heartwarming and it's kind of
Aw.
like a way to help you like find yourself, uplift yourself, and like just experience like another realm, if you will. But this one was terrifying. This is something else that they did. This is like on another level of what they do, and it was called I believe Bartle Tolum, which I want to say it translates to Book of the Dead. I don't know in what language, but I heard it was a Buddhist thing, and it's kind
Okay.
of like the basically what it is. It's like what goes on in the afterlife after you die, and from what I read, it's like your spirit like goes into both heaven and hell. You know, depending on how you were as a person determines how long you stay in each one, and then afterwards it's the rebirth and everything. Or reincarnation. Um, and it was so you we experienced this was like the intro to it because like it was for Midsummer Scream. It was like a 5 minute show and it was only the intro
Okay.
because they want you to come experience everything else. And this was just the part of getting to the realm of the dead. So you were gonna witness your own death.
Oh,
You were
fun.
gonna yeah, you were gonna witness your own death and you were gonna die, basically, is what they told you. And I can talk about all the details with this one because they don't do this anymore. And I believe they said that they probably wouldn't because they like to do things
Yeah, it's smart.
different.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like not doing reoccurring stuff. And
Mm.
so with this one, we entered into a room. They told us to remove our shoes. I did that. And I'm all excited. I'm like, yo, they're gonna beat me up because like I remember watching like Travel Channel documentaries about like these crazy haunted houses that they make you sign waivers. So this is my first time ever signing a waiver,
Oh
or
shit. So yeah,
no,
that's
I'd
actually
say
real.
like my second time.
Gonna have
Yeah,
bruises.
yeah, like my second time ever signing a waiver, and I'm like, yo, dude, let's do this. Like I'm getting all hyped up, thinking it's all gonna be physical, but it wasn't. As soon as I stepped in there, it's all black. I don't see anything around me. I don't see anything in front of me. I have hands touching my shoulder, leading me to where they want me to stand. And there's music playing. It's like this weird, like monk chanting type of stuff, and it's
And you're alone, right? I'm
I'm
sorry.
alone.
Okay.
Well,
Visualizing this. Okay.
yeah, and no one's with me. Like you're not going in as a group. You're going in by yourself, and then the hands get released from my shoulder. And they're like, wait here, and I was like, okay. So I wait here, or where I'm standing, and I'm just there. And then finally, something comes up from behind me. I could feel them behind me. They put their hands on my shoulder, kind of let me know, like, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, okay, here we go, here we go. Oh my God. And then like they were like, then they put a blindfold on me, and I'm like, okay, here we go, let's do this. Oh my god, like oh my god, I'm about to get punched. You know, I'm like all hyped up, like you know. And then the man leans into my ear, and he starts like talking to me. He's like, "How do you think you've been since your whole time alive?" I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Do you?" And he goes to my other ear. He's like, "Do you really think you would go to heaven?" I was like, never really gave it thought, honestly. Like, you know, like I didn't know how to answer the guy. I was like, I don't know. And he's just all like, do you remember like your like all your sins, or do you forget about them? And like just like really like asking questions was kind of like, what the hell? Like I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting to get like blood all over me and like,
Yeah.
something like this. And then they tell me to lay down, which I lay down. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe that was just like some psychological thing they'll do right now. Now it's gonna get crazy. And I laid on a tarp. I'm like, all right, I'm on a tarp. I can feel it. But what it was those type of things that they use, like like the rescue teams use to like lift up a body and transport
Oh,
a person from point A to point B to wherever they need to go. Because
okay.
I feel like a bunch of people stepping around me,
Oh,
and then they all go one like not like say it, but like I can like tell that they're like counting like 1, 2, 3, and they all lift. They proceed to take me. I felt bad. I felt bad, like because I was heavier at the time. I'm heavy
oh,
now, but I was heavier, and
geez. They
I
knew what
heard
they were getting
I
into.
I heard one guy grunt a little bit. I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm making you do some work. He was like, oh, and I was like, oh god, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, that was like the lightest part of the whole show. You know I mean, like that was like the lightest moment of the whole show. So they put me on a hospital gurney,
No.
and it's like a hard metal bed, and it's like, oh my god. And then they proceed to push me now, and I'm in a room, and I'm hearing like this music playing along with a heartbeat monitor that's going on pretty slow. And then as we're there, they put me into a certain area where there's like a doctor's light like right above you.
Oh my.
And then there's a doctor in front of me, and then there's a woman in front of me. They're looking at each other. They're not looking at me. And I'm looking at both of them like going like, all right, what's going on? What's going on? Like, I don't know what's going on. The doctor proceeds to put like a gas mask thing on me, like the kind of like breathing thing that they put on you, the hospital. And I was like, okay, like what's this is weird.
Like
And
you're
then
on
the
oxygen.
music kind of yeah, like the music comes to like a screeching halt. And then the woman now who was looking away from me, she then starts to uncontrollably weep on top of me. Um, she begins to like really go at it, like really crying hard, like really really bad, like and like basically she's playing the role of someone losing. I think in this case she went with like like a mother losing a child,
Mm.
and it was kind of like it was scary because I was like, oh god, first she's quiet, now she's like yelling like, oh my god, please don't go, this and that, and she's like getting really more emotional as it goes on. And then there's a doctor trying to explain to her like, I'm sorry, there was nothing we can do, and this and that, and she's just like bawling uncontrollably. The doctor tries to proceed to take the mask off of me, and she like fights him, like pushes his hand away, and like and was like, no, like he's fine, like oh my god, this and that. And then this is going on for like a good like 30 seconds now. And then the reason why I say this haunt kind of caused what I felt was because a little history. I think I've told you before privately, but I'll say it here now. I'm pretty sure I've said it before. I even did say it on my Instagram post. My history is I used to have cancer, like
Mhm.
leukemia, like at a young age. I was diagnosed when I was 5, and and everything like that. And then something in this moment like triggered.
Yeah.
It was like a button or a door that was like filled of like suppressed memories of that time. And it was true. It's true is because I asked my mom about it later, and she's like, yeah, there was a few times we thought we lost you. like and so that having that happen, it just like freaked me out like so much. Like I automatically started crying and this and that. And then I was like, at first I was just getting teary eyed because I was like, oh my God, like I've been here before. And then she says something in my ear, which I don't know if it was just my mind playing tricks on me, but she called me by a name that my mom calls me. Like I won't say it on here, but it's like she calls me by a name that my mom calls me when I like all growing up, like a little nickname. And that's when I started like really losing it. Like I was not even hiding it. I was bawling my ass off, and then and then everything's like, they finally get the woman off of me and they proceed to put a bag over me. Or like no, they transfer me to another bed that has a bag, like a body bag, and they zip it up. And then I'm thinking like, how is it gonna get worse than this? Like, how is it gonna get any worse than, like, I am like emotionally broken right now. Like I've opened to something that I was for some reason trying to repress. I think it's because I was too young to even comprehend it. But now that I'm older, I was able to process it a little better, more maturely, and so like, they proceed to like push me away. I can still hear her crying in the background. And then they put me on the ground, and on the ground, I feel something like stuff around me. I'm thinking like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is. And then, fast forward, and like they what it was dirt, and they proceed to slowly shovel dirt on top of me.
No.
And yeah, and so I was thinking like, oh, this is where I'm dead. This is like all right, this is where I'm dead. And I was, yeah, it was just like a weird like awakening moment type of thing. And it was, once everything was done, I got outside. My friend's waiting for me, and he's like, "You okay?" And I couldn't even speak for a good like 15 minutes. I had to sit down and just really process everything I went through. And it's a perfect example, because I was expecting one thing, as all fun and games, which, don't get me wrong, it was fun to kind of like open up something dark in your past. Because I felt like it made me, like, this is again another cliche. It's like, oh, I'm able to appreciate life a little bit better. I'm able to like, I remember like how close it was to none of this going on, and so like so that was like one thing where it was too much. It was way too much. I was not prepared for it, but it was a good thing though at the same time.
I can feel that. Now, one of the things that Sarah was saying, I would have walked out. Did that even cross your mind? Like, I can get up at any point, or were you just too much into that?
I was
that space, that emotional thing. I think it kind of paralyzes you. I couldn't say,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I was at the point where I couldn't move. I couldn't move. I didn't even remember the safe word. They gave us a safe word. I didn't remember it.
Yeah, see, I feel like when that kind of emotion takes over, you just kind of, that's all that matters at that moment. And damn. And yeah, it's a good thing at the same time, but I don't know. I just, damn, the mind is, fuck it.
Yeah, and like, who would have thought that, like, who would have thought like a haunted house?
Because I'm going through this and I'm like, what did they know about you? What kind of invasion of privacy did they fucking, but they didn't know who was coming to this thing.
They didn't. It was just a line of people, and I was just there with the goofy smile on my face, like, oh shit, let's go.
So
but
they definitely had some type of psychic there, some type of like, professional, does this for a living type of psychic. Or I don't know. Have you seen Nightmare Alley? I'm not going to try to predict what happened, because again, it was actually one of those dark, I call that kind of like shadow work type of thing.
Okay.
You needed to, you didn't know it. You weren't like, do you really think that you would have processed that if you prepared for it and then processed that? You would have put it off. You would have put it off. You would have put it off. So, those kind of revelations, those truths about ourselves, especially about our inner child, I know what it feels like to have those unearthed as you're being fucking buried. It's like, it's just crazy how it works. But I'm also thinking like like, damn, they were fucking good.
They were really
Did you
good,
let them
and
know what they've done, what they did to you? Do they know your
yeah, I had
experience?
a chance to talk to one of the guys that was working there, and I told him like, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Like I told him everything, like, look, like about, like I told him about my childhood, and he was like, what? Like, oh my god, like I'm sorry if you had to relive anything. I was like, no, like I felt like I needed to. You know what I mean? It was just, it's not good to bottle things up. After experiencing that, I kind of realized that it was good to release something. I felt
Right,
lighter. You know what I mean? I felt
right.
lighter. It was good to release it and like actually experience, um, like I forgot. I'm sorry. I was actually just able to experience it and like just process it. And just really, again, really reflect on everything. And like I was more grateful for everything after that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like
maybe a
it's
formative moment to your character as it is now. Not that,
yeah,
I could ever not see you being a sweetheart. But, Sarah brought up another good part, expecting to go in getting tortured, coming
yeah,
out like fucking coming out emotionally damaged. The thing is, we need things to be afraid of. And psychological is some
yeah.
shit. And I think
It
that's
is.
where my shit gets fucked up. Yes, Veronica. Veronica gets it because we dabble in psychiatry and psychology and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. Well, she's obviously a professional.
She is. Yeah.
My girl. I feel that because I feel like for me, you could write stories about this. Like people want to read about these experiences. And the fact that it happened, in an immersive thing where they weren't even expecting, they
Yeah.
probably weren't thinking about like what is this going to do psychologically to the people that come through. Did they
It's
know
like,
that it was going to be? Well, obviously they're burying people, kind of.
yeah, like they know that it's a fear. Like, it's like, oh, imagine you get to witness your own death. You know what I mean? Like they know it's a fear,
Yeah,
but I guess they weren't expecting kind of like, oh, you know, we might like, something like this might happen. You know what I mean? They probably weren't expecting that. They were probably thinking that like, maybe certain people, because like they tell you like, oh, you're gonna experience your own death. They don't tell you how, but they just say you're gonna experience your own death. So they figure that like, okay, well, the people that don't want to experience that will stay away. But the people who are intrigued and like curious, they'll come aboard.
yeah,
And it's just out of those people, they don't know which one of them it actually has like certain I guess past traumas, or not I guess, but yeah, like past traumas and like and just like history of
yeah.
related to that nature.
And then like common things like Veronica just mentioned that death is a taboo topic to many people because people fear it so much.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's a fear that was embedded to us. It's a societal fear. It's not, it's a
Hmm.
natural thing. It just sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks to have that knowledge. It's like I
Yeah.
wish I could be,
Like
oblivious
oblivious
to
to it
it.
all and just.
I wish I could, but honestly, at certain points in my life, I'm like, especially now, I'm like, it's not that bad to me. Like, it's not something I fear. I think, what do we fear really? The
Yeah.
anticipation. That's, or know it's coming. But I mean, I guess it seems like they took, I can't explain it. It was an experience. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to pick it
Hmm.
apart.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that was
never
like,
better.
yeah, that's like another emotional, like kind of like emotional, like physical type of thing. That like dwelling in the extreme haunts and the immersive theater has
Mhm.
caused me to experience. Well, I don't want to say cause, but like that let me be able to experience. It was a blessing, but it was like kind of like a very it was just a very dark blessing where it's kind of like you're grateful for it, but you're also like it didn't need to be that extreme. You know what I mean? It's like,
You were, yeah, you were right. You're like, I wasn't ready. So here's
yeah.
a question for you. What would you find more terrifying then? Something like that
Um,
happening to you again, or having
another
some
thing that it caused
ghostly
me to. I'm sorry, what?
unknown entity or something like that? A psychological type of emotional revelation or illness or whatever that,
Mhm,
something that you can't control because when you're in your brain
mhm,
outside, I always picture like like comas, people in comas. Can they
Hmm.
really describe what happens when they're in there? Are they aware and can you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
always look at it like the psychological stuff that goes on inside in your head as
Hmm.
opposed to seeing something with your eyes, like some type of
Like a physical.
manifestation of a
Oh,
spirit or something, you know what I mean?
okay.
A conjured spirit or something poltergeisty. I don't know. I've only experienced psychological fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So
I would probably would go with the psychological stuff, and it's weird. Um, that's the thing I look for in the every other extreme haunt or immersive thing I look for. I always look to see if like are they going to talk about certain topics, that I've dealt with in my past,
ah,
and, like something related to it. Are they going to talk about like like a touchy subject at all? And I look for it as in a way of like that encourages me to go more because
mm,
after experiencing that, from what like what my friend Sarah said, like I'm all excited to get punched. Like I was excited to be like, like wow, like some sort of like frat boy, you know what I mean? Like I was like, yeah, let's do this, man. Like like let's see if I can take it. It's like what? I don't care about like my like the pain, like physical pain I can take. And now I want to know about the mental pain I can take. Now
damn.
that I've had it hammered into me after that experience, I want to know more about that.
All
And
right.
those are the main ones I like will most likely not even hesitate to join, because it's
Okay.
like, worst comes to worst, I end up crying. But then again, it's like it's not even the worst case scenario because it's like I said, it's bad to bottle things up, and I try, a lot not to do that, but it's a habit because growing up, like it was like a boy always telling you like, oh, stop crying, this and that, and it's like not even that, like as a boy, just like in general, like like I feel like a lot of our generations, and you can relate too. It's like they just telling us stop crying, stop
Yep.
crying. It's not like why are you crying?
Yeah,
You know?
you can't be depressed or sad or anxious. You're a kid.
Yeah,
You have no
you
emotion.
know,
I felt
and
like
it's
a pet,
yeah.
like I felt like a pet a lot of the time.
No, I understand that. Yeah, and it's like so being able to actually experience it was this, and actually just let loose of those emotions was was uh such like a pleasure to feel. You know what I mean? It was just like wow.
Absolutely.
And then of course, like like I'll go into like the physical stuff now, where it's all like pain tolerance. That is something to where push far enough will affect you emotionally.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a border where it's all like you put through someone so much pain, well, quote unquote pain, because it is acting. They're not intentionally trying to hurt you. This is part of the show. Um, well, most cases there are some haunts that they abuse it, which that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
But you know, so it's like there is like a wall where it's all like, all right, I've taken so much pain to where now it's starting to get me on the inside. It's no
Mhm.
longer on the outside, and now it's affecting me on the inside.
Right.
Which I feel like after experiencing what I did, this other haunt I went to up in Utah called
Yeah.
Castle of Chaos. Um, that was the moment where it's like now I question any extreme haunt I go to for the physical aspect. It's all like I don't know how I'm going to be able to take pain now because of them. And it was
God.
another case of like being part of the spooky life gone
Right.
too far. It was a fun experience. I recommend anyone that like wants to do it, that's like curious and wants to do it. You're in good hands. I talked to all the owners, and like I've talked to everyone that worked there that night that I was there, and everyone was wonderful. Everyone was wonderful. I have nothing bad to say about anyone over there. So like if you wanted to try something like that to where pain could now go into emotional stuff, then definitely hit up Castle of Chaos. It's called the Crucible Experience.
They're still doing it,
And
right?
they're still doing it. It's like once a year, like the Halloween season, because their establishment, Castle of Chaos, like is open year round because they do escape rooms. They do
Oh,
other stuff on the off season and stuff like that. And any hold on real quick, I want to address this. Any thoughts on it?
I was just gonna say we
That's
would talk about Bruno.
yeah, exactly. That's Bruno right there. But not like in the movie where Bruno's like a like he ends up being a good guy who was just misunderstood. No, Russ McKenney, I'll say it on here. Like
Piece of
he's not
shit.
a good guy. And I feel more not more, but like I feel like hurt about it, finding out about that is because I used to like thought that like, oh my God, like I used to thought McKinney's Manor was the shit because I didn't know too much. I was oblivious. You know, I just knew it was an extreme haunt, and I was like all excited. I was like, dude, I want to go to that so bad. This and that. I got to meet him, and I was like, yo, what's up? Nice to meet you, man. Like, I'm a fan of your haunt, this and that. Not knowing all the other traumas that was going on, like the actual traumas that he was causing. Not that he was bringing up from other people, but like that his own the stuff that he was purposely doing to people. You know, and
Yeah. And
I felt
he
like he was just a bad man, especially when I found out that they took away that not when they took away, when I found out, because I always thought that there was a safe word, but
no.
then
No.
like, you know, like finding out that he doesn't have one or he took it away, I was like, why would you do that? What if someone's like really wanting to stop? You know, now we're in a different topic of like consent and all this stuff, and it kind of makes you think, what's this guy like outside of the haunt then? If he doesn't even want to have like consent inside of his art, you know what I mean?
Right?
How is he on the outside then? You know?
Okay.
It's like,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna lead right into this because
Yes.
what you just said about Russ
Hmm.
is what I wanted to talk to you so badly about over the weekend.
Okay.
It's similar. It's not him, but it
Okay.
just proves why we're such good friends. Because the way we
Mhm.
feel about people, like you were more upset about the way Russ treats people without disregard to or regard to human life or just people. He's looking at it as
Mhm.
a gimmick and a money way to make quick and easy cash that he
Yeah.
can or can't be sued for. To me, he's like the Donald Trump of fucking well, you can't even call him a haunter, you
Yeah.
know?
No.
So I don't know what he is. He's his own dumb shittery, and by now people should really know that's a no-no and make their own choices.
Yeah.
So and it's the disappointment, the obliviousness. I'm with you on that. So what happened to
Hmm.
me, and you know me, I'm devastated and I get put into a funk and I get put into these psychological mindsets of like the world is horse, humanity is just doomed, and all those
Hmm.
other things is when I'm disappointed by somebody I admired being a piece of shit.
Exactly.
Um, but it haunted me all weekend because everything I watched afterwards, everything was bothering me. We had a beautiful weekend, but there were parts of what I saw on Friday night that kept fucking with me. So
Hmm.
Friday night, and I forgive me for again, I'll probably be called a non-horror fan. I had wanted to watch the cursed films on Shudder. I had started watching it last year whenever it first came out, but I lost track in my life and I forgot it even existed. You know, I watch everything else on Shudder. So I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know what prompted me to watch it. It was the episode, the most recent episode. What fucking episode was it in this season 2? I don't know. I just wanted to watch it because everybody was talking about it. So
Hmm.
so obviously this particular episode overshadowed everything. Okay, so it was the last episode of the first season, the Twilight Zone episode. Okay, so we all know about the accident that happened on the Twilight Zone movie. We may not know. I didn't know. I know 3 people died, but from what I remember hearing about it, it was just like this accident, and I didn't know everything else that went into what
Hmm.
happened. So if you don't know, Justin, you don't seem like you know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
No,
was
no, no, it's
confused.
okay. Honestly, maybe I'll spare you some trauma later because and I made the mistake of taking my RSO, my happy stuff
Hmm.
and watching this. And I was fucking stoked all the way because I was like, I'm happy, I'm high watching horror on a Friday. Whoop
Yeah.
whoop, my pizza. Whoop whoop. Until this fucking
Exactly.
episode, dude. And then it just fucked with me. Okay.
Mm.
So what happened was, I'll make it very quick. 3 people were killed on one of the segments on the Twilight Zone. You know, it's an anthology movie. You know
Yeah.
the movie itself. So in the one where the racist dude who went back in time to like do his atonement for his wrongdoings, the Vietnam scene,
Hmm.
there was another scene after that where they cut out for obvious fucking reasons, where there was this explosion. The dude was carrying 2 Vietnamese kids in this river. The helicopter in the scene gets too low, an
Oh.
explosion, and the fucking helicopter basically chops the 3 of them in half. Okay, you're talking about a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a like 60-year-old man or some shit. I don't know how old he was.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was like a really like fucking macabre accident, but to
Yeah.
me, after listening to, I was wondering like why everyone in the segment was so grim. Like one dude's voice was shaking from the moment the episode began, like his voice was shaking. And then the
Hmm.
other guy took like 30 minutes before he just couldn't help it and the waterworks started.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that John Landis, who directed one of my favorite all-time fucking horror movies, who I watched in Tales of Halloween, which I questioned last year as one of my favorite films because it is a simply all white cast. There's like 2 people of color in it. And
Yeah.
I'm going, okay, why didn't I pick up on this before? I had to like really watch it. But then on top of that, there is a segment, one of my favorite segments in John Landis, the director of American Werewolf in London,
Hmm.
um, fucking, I can't even think a funny movie, one of the funny movies with Chevy Chase, and a couple of other things that were very prominent. Like he was dope. I love American Werewolf in London. So to me, John Landis
Hmm.
was dope. I almost went to a book signing of his in Dark Delicacies. He's in a segment of Tales of Halloween. Okay.
Hmm.
He was the director of that segment, but according to many multiple sources, including the parents of the children who watched their children die in front
Hmm.
of them, he was he was kind of Kubricky, he was kind of Stanley Kubricky. He was screaming. There was like all these safety precautions that were overlooked because he was behind schedule. He was
Hmm.
screaming for the helicopter to get lower and lower. Um,
Oh.
then the accident happens, Justin, and I had never seen the full thing, and Shudder had no fucking problem showing it. Now you
Oh
can't
wow.
really see what happened, the impact of the bodies, but you see the fucking crash, and again,
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoned out of my mind, and it made it much more worse. I
Oh
was
no.
also worried about Chuck, who usually has a hard time with certain scenes in horror films because of his own trauma when he was in the military.
Yeah.
So I was also worried about him while freaking the fuck out, going, I just watched that happen. And I used to watch Faces of Death and all that shit when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't know why this hit so hard. Maybe it's because I was stoned and really open to like the grief and the pain that
Yeah.
people were feeling. Because it didn't end there that just the 3 people died. Of course, there were lawsuits, and John Landis may have paid all the fines, but he was convicted not guilty, but also pled for his innocence. It was like
Mm.
he had no regard. He didn't take any responsibility for what happened.
Yeah.
None. And because of that, apparently this is one of the is named, if you look it up, the worst accident on a movie set. Not Brandon Lee, not what just happened with Alec Baldwin and other, cursed films, because a lot of shit went down on the production of The Twilight Zone besides
Hmm.
that. And so it was just the worst
Yeah.
accident.
No.
So
It's
all week is so on top, I'm looking at it, he had nothing, no regard. But it real white entitled because he wanted to speak at their funerals. He wanted to say something to kind of like, I'm so sorry this happened, but I didn't kill them. It's like,
yeah.
and I'm going,
He
I've
was just doing it to
admired.
save face. He's like, oh, look how good of a man
Right.
he is.
But the thing is he paid his fines and he was found not guilty. Okay. So he bared no real responsibility. His career dissolved after that, and his friendship with Steven Spielberg dissolved because of it. Because Steven
Hmm.
Spielberg had said, you should have listened to the crew. You shouldn't have hired an
Yep.
inexperienced movie pilot, because there's a difference between movie pilots and actual helicopter
Pilots.
pilots
Yeah.
that flew in the military. He fucked it. Hired those Vietnamese kids illegally and had them working at 2:30 in the morning, which is when they
Oh
died.
God.
Okay, and as their parents watched. Okay, so there's that, and then the older dude was Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad. I didn't know that. But the thing is John Landis, his career dissolved. I guess he even got Coming to America. He directed Coming to America, another one of our
Really?
childhood favorites. Yeah, him and Eddie Murphy got to it because John Landis. Here he goes. Why didn't you come back me up at the trial? And Eddie was like, I can't.
Yeah.
You needed to take some kind of responsibility for what you did.
Yep.
I didn't do it. I was as safe as I could be. Apparently, the good of that was Hollywood had this huge overhaul on safety, but we
Hmm.
still have accidents like Brandon Lee. and what just
Yeah.
happened. But what bothered me all weekend was the fact that it's once again, it's like when I found out, I didn't know that most of the fucking Pantera band members were racist. I didn't
Yeah.
know that people I admired were racist. It's like fucking people in our own community who fucked me over because I was
Yep.
too black or too, too much for them, even though I would have done anything for them. It's but there's the lessons and all that. But what bothered me over the week is I admired John Landis this whole fucking time, and he's a
Mhm.
scumbag. So Cursed or Shudder, whoever produced the Cursed films of that episode, reached out to him, and to this day, motherfucker still won't talk about it. So knowing that here's the other thing that kept haunting me.
Mhm.
Axel Carolyn, another director I admired because she's the one who did Tales of Halloween, knew all this and put him in Tales of Halloween.
Oh wow.
Kane Hodder isn't mad at him because he's like, oh well, accidents happen and this and this and that. You can't. I get it that society likes to point fingers and blame, but to me as a human being, and to sit there and watch that and still have no kind
Mhm.
of guilt or remorse. Maybe he does, but he's not out speaking it. He could have just said,
Yeah.
they bared some kind of responsibility. Some.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
Financial isn't
Yeah.
enough. So it was just really heartbreaking. But then I'm watching like other things and there's explosions and it just set me right back off into like obsessing over this haunting scene. It was like when I
Mhm.
saw Hereditary, that movie fucks me up.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh god.
Psychological fuckery right there. I've only watched that movie 3 times.
I've only watched it once because like it's like I don't know if I want to do. Oh, I watched it once and then I watched the ending because like I watched those like YouTube videos of like people explaining it and stuff like that. Like because A24 doesn't just give you the answers. They're
They're like,
like
think
they're like
it.
you figure it out and then like a year or a few months later listen to someone on YouTube going like what this actually is tied into this thing. You wait for someone else to do all the study for you. At least that's
Right?
what I it's
I mean,
and
but
it's like
at that point, do you even want it explained, or do you just like to revel in the unknown about it? I like doing that because I like going back and thinking about it and all the
yeah,
different scenarios.
a
It's
little
kind of
bit of both,
entertaining
yeah.
for me. That's how I got through like boring ass like school choir performances.
There we go. Yeah, no, but what you're explaining right there, the whole movie industry, it's like, again, I always gotta like hype up or like, talk good about the haunt industry. As far as from what I know and the people I know, um, well, some of the people I know, and it's like something like that would most likely never happen
Yeah,
because I just want to give like a hats off and like like a salute to the ones that like really take the time and effort to make sure every step of the way through the haunt is safe. We
absolutely.
want you to feel like you're in trouble, but you're never actually in real danger.
That's right. And they
Like
reassure, and
mhm.
even with the extreme ones, like you said, the Utah
Yeah.
folks took care of you.
Yeah, no, the group Black Mass that I deal with a lot with, I trust
Oh,
those people so much. And it's the one thing I will admit though, it is hard to go through their experiences knowing them as people now instead of just Black Mass. It's because it's like when I see them, I'm so happy. But now I gotta be like, in this like tortured position or like, like not tortured, you know what I mean? Like I gotta be in this position where I'm I'm doing something crazy or I'm like, this and that. It's just I'm just so happy to see their faces where it's all like, oh my God, insert their real name, but I can't call them that now. They're in character and they do such a good job to where it's all like they can tell when I'm like, I feel like they can tell when I'm not like fully listening because they'll be like, hey, pay attention. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm just so in awe just to be around them because like they're such amazing people. And I feel safe with them. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But it's just the fact that where it's all like, I just want to hug you guys, but no, now I gotta and like, insert crazy scenario. I can't talk about what they do. They will because like they're still doing stuff right now and they will
they're gonna
come
come
and they
kidnap
will no, they wouldn't. No, they would. They would be upset though. I wouldn't want to give away
Oh,
their magic
I
because
know a couple
yeah,
of them. They're amazing. And I'm like,
yes,
this is why we're friends. I did this. I will ruin a whole person's um fucking whole persona, a scare actor,
yes,
because I'm like, what's up? You know me. Like, come here, let me give you
yes, yes. I'm the same way like that too. Sometimes, like I saw my friend. he was working at Knott's one time, and it was like when I finally figured out it was him, I just couldn't help but hug him. I was like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Yo, my boss is looking." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Let me
Don't
go
fire
scream. Let
him,
me
please.
go. Yeah. Like, let me go
Oops, I'm
scream and act like
scared.
you got me." Yeah.
I'm
Oh no.
afraid. Fuck
Yeah.
it. But yeah, isn't that Nutter Butters? It's like,
Hmm.
so the other thing I fear is being disappointed by people I fucking love, you
Yeah.
know? Um, I guess it's because I'm used to it. Like,
Hmm.
people I love always find some way to fucking disappoint me. And then I'm like, oh, well, shit, here goes the psychological stuff. Am I worthy of
Hmm.
being disappointed? It's like, so those are kind of fears that it's like, I hate when it happens because I'm absolutely fucked for life
Yeah.
for after I read that as I said that. It's cool. Um, and I'll obsess and really like engage in that emotion. But at the same time, it's like, thank you, because I needed something to dwell and obsess on. It's like, because they don't make
Hmm.
scary movies. Like, you can't give me a slasher anymore
Hmm.
that's going to do anything for me to actually terrify me, unless it's like an immersive experience I don't fucking know about or something. But
Yeah.
then I'm still so oblivious. But slashers don't bother me.
Yeah.
A leper doesn't bother me. A clown doesn't bother me. Give me something that's going to make me. I think psychological stuff would scare me. This is probably why I'm not prone to paranormal like manifestations, or they don't
Hmm.
appear in physical form to me, because I have to really listen, because I'm always so full of doubt with walls all around me.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think I have paranormal experiences to where other people do, because maybe I'm a harder bitch. I'm not mean. I don't think I'm a mean person unless Chuck's over here laughing. I told him something funny, as a friend-to-friend thing, and everyone
Hmm.
else listening. The other day, I told him I'm allowing myself at 3 times a month to be petty as fuck.
Amen.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I'm gonna fucking be petty as fuck. And he's like,
I
"Look, you should have seen the look of horror on his face." Justin, he was like, "As long as I don't have to be one of those people you're." I'm like,
exactly.
"What have I ever done to you? You
Oh man.
like, okay, I can be petty, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I thought he got up right now, like, but
No,
you know
like
what I'm
the
saying?
old.
It's a release, but I don't know where I'm
Yeah.
going. So make me stop rambling.
No, that's cool. No, I totally agree with that mindset. The old me wouldn't have, but I feel like it's because of the way I was back then. Now I kind of like agree with it now, because I used to be like kind of like Mr. Nice Guy, like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, you can walk all over me and all this other stuff. But then it's like, after like, just constantly getting screwed over, like you said, like, the people that you love, like letting you down. It's like, like certain people that like I worked with, some people that like, I was involved with emotionally as friends and other stuff like that. It's just like, constantly getting like stepped on by those type, where it's all like, like I let people know exactly how I feel about them. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve,
Yeah, you
like
do.
motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it's like finally, like after getting like, getting tossed around so much emotionally speaking, it was like, like now I'm like totally like, oh yeah, I there needs to be a holiday or like a certain day of the week where it's like, hey, this is okay for you because you've put up with so much, same.
I
So
love
like with
you.
you saying that, it's like you put up with so much, Michelle, you do it.
It's
Exactly.
time.
And
Yeah,
just like what my wife's saying, some people deserve
our
to be
pettiness.
petty. Exactly.
They deserve us to be petty to them.
Amen.
Yeah, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of. I heard a quote today that I'm like definitely gonna put on a sticky note and take around with me everywhere. Maybe even tattoo that shit.
There we go.
Let me remember what it was. Hold on a sec. It said, fuck. Oh, it said, oh, them. You're so polite. Me. Yeah, a lifetime of always having to please people and make them comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
do that anymore, because I used to think, oh, I don't know. You know how I feel about boomers because of my own parents and in-laws and all that other shit.
Hmm.
Uh-uh. I'm sorry. I don't care. I've spent 42 years on this earth with these particular people, so have their lives at this point. You don't deserve me to have to fucking say sorry to you for your bullshit anymore. I'm not
Yeah,
here to make anybody comfortable anymore. And I think the last straw for me, it was people within our community. And
exactly.
it hurt and it was fear. It scared me because it was to me going, is there any fucking safe place?
Yeah, like where you thought you were safe at is there you found a vulnerable spot. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why the circle remains tight anymore. Like, oh, I have some cheese made for you. I can't wait to tell you. But I
Oh
can't
my
tell
god.
the public. So
I
we've
feel it.
been on long enough, right, guys? You don't mind if I take Justin to myself, do you? Because I love we have our therapy. To me, when we have our high chats, we're like doing
It's
when
like
I'm
therapy.
yeah, it's therapy. And I feel like I'm always inundating you with like fucking
Mhm.
voice messages with me being stoned and none of them make sense.
Oh man, I
You can
love
listen
your
to them
anytime.
after.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you know this by now, but anytime me and Veronica get a voice message from you, we gather around and listen to it like if it's like an old timey like if it's an old timey radio show, like, oh, I Love Lucy's on. Let's gather around, family. And it's like it's like, oh my god, it's the best thing. It's like when we like as soon as one of us gets it's like, oh my god, Michelle sent us a voice message. You want to listen to it? It's like, is it okay? It's like, yeah, we're only talking about this. And I was like, okay, yeah. And it was like, we just gather around whose ever phone it is and just like a campfire, and we're making s'mores. And your voice chat is the gooiness of s'mores,
I,
gooey tastiness of s'mores.
Keisha, I don't know if you want to hear my cheese may. It's not about you though, baby.
Keisha,
I don't want to break hearts
too much
today.
cheese, man. I'm
I don't want to break
lactose. I can't
hearts
handle
today.
that much
Look, he's
cheese.
like, not cheese right now. Look, I have a solution for you though, baby, because I don't mind filling you in. But you can't get mad at me. Is all I'm saying. You can't get
Boom.
mad at me because sometimes when I be telling the truth, people are like, "Fuck you." That's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, thank you. And we're gonna keep it up. In fact,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have to because we've been on a long time, and we will do that 3-day podcast one day, Justin.
Oh, yeah, just 3 days straight.
I feel like
And
we should do it where we're all together for 3 days straight again because I
oh,
have to sleep.
we could definitely do that.
I
And
have to sleep.
it would save our electricity bill a lot. So in our internet bill, so it would be
Dude,
financially more responsible.
there's free electricity in the parks up here.
Really?
You could plug in. I fucking went to. They have like these covered like fucking log shelter things with fucking power. Tomorrow. Fuck it. That's it, Chuck. I'm gonna go fucking right in the park tomorrow. I'm gonna plug in my laptop. I'm taking my laptop.
Boom. Hell yeah, dude.
Because you can't get that in California. So you're
Hell
gonna go
no.
have your party in the park, like your cookout. Because I want to
Yeah.
cook out, even if it's just me and Chuck.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
having
dude.
a cookout because I will have power.
There we go. Hell yeah,
Anyways,
dude.
I'm
That's
sorry, I went on
awesome.
a tangent. Anyways,
That's fine.
next week I have Jackson. We're going over. I have Jackson or Veronica next week. Who do I have? Jackson or Veronica? Are we doing Euphoria next week?
Mm-hmm.
Veronica,
Wait, what?
Yes.
you're on here. Are we doing?
She's giving me a thumbs up. Yes.
Okay, we're doing Euphoria. Okay, so let's erase that.
Boom.
Next week, I'm on with Veronica. Duh. I love saying that. Veronica. Duh. Who I also call Mrs. or Miss or wait, Veronica, Mr. Duh. Okay, just forget me. We're gonna talk about the show Euphoria because fuck.
It's a good show.
Oh
my
right?
god.
And it has elements of horror in them,
Yeah.
the psychological horror and actual horror. And if you like movies like Mandy and The Color fucking Outer Space, you're gonna like this movie or the show. So don't tell me it's not horror Halloween related because there's some shit in there that's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
So, and we're gonna break shit apart. We're gonna talk shit about the realness that we discovered while watching the show. So, yes, I'm basically putting my DMs with Veronica on blast when it comes to Euphoria. Next week, Justin, I love you, and I hope you're in the background for that next week too.
I will be in the background, and I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all got to say. And I love you too, and thank you for having me on. It's good to do something entertaining wise with someone that you really
It's so
respect
much
and like you want to
fun.
work with, you know. And like I want to do more things with you, you know what I mean? And it's like, so being able to do this, it's amazing, you know.
I think that we have a thing, you know, we always have. We've
Yeah,
been, you know, it just hit me. We've been friends for like 3 years, dude. We're solid.
exactly.
You know, we've been through a lot of shit and we are
A little
fucking
bit.
solid. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man.
So I love working and even just talking with you is a whole
Oh
fucking
yeah,
trip.
just talking
Experiencing
and stuff
things
like
with
that.
you. We have so much in common and so much to share. So let's just
Exactly.
keep doing it.
Amen. Hell yeah, dude.
All right, we'll see everyone next week, you
Alright.
guys.
See y'all